This flyer right here is really just pictures and text. So I was sent this on Instagram. Someone asked me if I could recreate it in Photoshop. So I'll show y'all that process today. But you know, if you wanted to buy this from someone, it can be like $30, $40, $50, $60. Some people might even charge $100 for a flyer like this. But I'm gonna show you how to do it today. So whether you're saving money for your business and you want to create this yourself, or if you're a beginner graphic designer and you want to sell flyers like this, then this video is for you. Alright y'all, so we're here in Photoshop. Now we got to make our document the right size. So let's put this part here in pixels. And you want your width and your height to be 1080. And for the resolution, I always make it 300 in case I want to print it out later, so it'll be high quality. Alright, so let me go ahead and get my reference picture. So I'm going to just drag that on here because it'll just help me to know where I want to put my text and pictures and everything. So I'm just going to rename this one. I'll call it reference image. And just to get everything started, I'm going to go ahead and save this one. Manifest flyer. Alright, so I always keep saving my document in case the computer crashes or something, and it'll erase my project. I'm gonna just use some pictures of Meghan the Stallion. So you can just get your image and just copy and paste it in here. I want to get two because there's two in this photo here. So I'm just get two different pictures. And I think it would be best if I chose two pictures from the same photo shoot. Okay, so I'm gonna call this one Hat Touch since she's touching the hat. And I'm gonna call this one, I don't know, Hat Tip. I don't know. Alright, so I just know which one is which. I like to turn my photos into a smart object, so I'm gonna just right click it and then convert it to a smart object. And I'm gonna go ahead and work on cutting the image from the background. So I'm lazy, right? So as a lazy designer, I like to find lazy ways of cutting them out. So I'm gonna just go to select and then subject. It'll automatically select the subject for you so you can see the little lines going around the person. And just to make sure that the selection is perfect, I want to go to select and then select and mask. I'm gonna zoom out here. For my color here, let me change this to blue just so that way I can see. If you want to be able to see this, how I'm seeing it, you want to go right here to where it says view and change it to overlay. And I like to make my color part a different color so that way I can like clearly see where the line of demarcation is. Is that the right word? I don't know. But I can just see the edges to see if like everything is like, you know, smooth and clean cut. So on this one it is. I'm not even going to worry too much about it. On the hair part, I'm going to go ahead and click on right here where it says refine hair. And that might make it a little bit better. I don't know. But it really don't matter. Alright, so let's hit OK. And when you come back down here, let's go to this rectangle with a circle on it. That's called a layer mask. So when you click on that, it'll hide the background. So that one's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to hide that one. I'm going to bring back up the other photo. I'm going to do the same thing. Go to select. Oh, wait, I ain't got to select it. Okay, so make sure that layer is selected first. Go to select and then subject. I'll give it a second. All right, so this one we got to do a little bit of work on it because I see that it didn't select her nails. And it didn't select her nails because it's kind of blending in with the red background. Same thing with this part of her hat. So I'm going to go to select and then select and mask just to see what all I can do here. I kind of can't do much here. Let me do refine hair. Okay, so that fixed the hair part. And I'm not even going to have her legs in it, so that part doesn't even matter. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And then I'm going to hit the layer mask button here. So right here where that part is like not in the photo, I'm going to bring it back. So that's the beauty of using layer mask in Photoshop. So if you make sure your layer mask right here is selected, and you'll know if it's selected if you see the white corners around this box. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to actually hide my background. And so I'm able to clearly see what wasn't included in that selection. So again, make sure this is selected. Go to your brush tool, make sure your color is white. So if you have yours like this, you can just hit these two little arrows right here, and then it'll switch the front color to white. So I'm gonna just zoom in. I like to come up here and I'll change my brush to soft round. Okay. And if you want to make it bigger or smaller, you can always change that number up there where the size is. And you can just go ahead and start painting in right here. So if I paint in, it's bringing back that part of the hat. I'm gonna make my brush a little bit smaller. So I got that part back. Same thing with her hand. And it doesn't have to be super perfect because remember the pictures are gonna be a little bit smaller anyways. And if you want to go back up there and like try to get her nail, you can. It really doesn't even matter. It still looks good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and save my document. Okay, I'm gonna bring back up my reference image. So now I gotta figure out how I want to pose her on here. So I think I want this picture to be the background one. I think I'll put her about right there. I'm gonna get the other one, bring her about here. And just because they're both facing the same direction, it's gonna kind of clash a bit. So the one in the background, I'm just gonna have that one to flip. So with the back one selected, I'm gonna go up to edit, transform, and then flip horizontal. Perfect, that's exactly what I wanted. Okay, and I'll have this one, I'll probably bring it over a little bit, like right here. I'm gonna make it a different color so I'm able to see it clearly. I'll just make it black. It kind of reminds me of the font called Abril Fat Face. It doesn't mean it's the same exact one, as long as I get close enough, that's all that matters. So I'm just gonna type that in up here. There are 2 fonts that are used on here, I believe. So I'm just gonna duplicate this one. I'm gonna put what's included. That looks good. And for all the other text on there too, I like to use the font called Avenir. Actually, I'm gonna use Acumen this time. Acumen kind of looks like Avenir in a way. So I'm gonna just use this one. And they have theirs in all caps. So if you come over here, and if you look in the type options area, if you see these double capital T's, it'll keep everything capitalized in that one section. And the way that I like to cheat is, like I said, I'll just make one and then I'll just duplicate it. So I'll just do this. And I'll just keep on going down. So I'll show you that part in a minute. And then for the part that says for tickets and vendor spaces, I'll put this back at center. Really? I'll just make this a bit bolder, but keep it in the same font. So right here, I'll probably go to bold. I'm gonna go ahead and lay out all the text the way that it needs to be, and I'll fast forward it. All right, so I have all my text laid out pretty much the way I want it to be. So as I'm designing, I like to keep hiding my reference image. So if I hide it, that's pretty much about how I want it to be. So now let me go ahead and show you what you could do if you want to be able to find these little check marks here. I'm just gonna go to Google and I'm gonna hit all. So right here, I'll just put checklist, I don't know, box? I don't know, checkbox? Let's see, tools, colors. I want mine to be transparent. A trick that I like to do, because the transparency in Photoshop acts weird, I like to right click on this, then I'll hit copy image link. And I'll come back over here and I'll go to file, place linked. And right here, I'll just paste that link in there and then I'll hit place. And every single time it'll have it to be transparent. So I'm gonna right click on that layer. I'm gonna convert it to a smart object. I'm gonna go ahead and shrink that down and go ahead and put it next to the first like entry. So remember I told you I like to just make one and then I'll just keep duplicating it. And this makes it easier because all you gotta do now is just go in, click the text, and then just edit the text. Now to make the rectangle behind the words that say what's included. So I'm gonna get the rectangle tool. I'm gonna click and drag this out like this. They also have a white outline around there, so I'm gonna just do the same thing. So where it says stroke, I'm just gonna come up here and make sure this is white. I'm gonna hit OK. And for the fill, I'm gonna go here and just click on this hot pink color, and I'll have that. So you may notice that your outline isn't as thick as theirs. So if you want to make it thicker, just increase this number right here. So there's no right or wrong number, just keep going till it looks good to you. All right, so now for the lines that are right here, what I would do is use the line tool. So if you come over here where the rectangle tool is and hold that down, you'll see a little list and you can just click on where it says line tool. If I just click and drag this down, you see how it's kind of going left and right? If you hold down the shift key, it'll make it just go in a straight line in any direction. All right, so if I do about here, that looks good. So right now the line is too thick, so I'm gonna bring it down to 1 pixel. Okay, I'm gonna get my move tool back, bring it down here. And here's the thing about the line tool. Since the line is already really thin, the selection box around it, which is the blue box, it'll kind of make it hard to see. So to be able to see it, I like to either click off of it, like I'll click a different layer, then I can see it. Right now, I see that the inside of that line is pink and I don't want that. So right here where it says fill, bring the fill back. And you want the stroke to not be existent. There we go. Okay, so that part looks good. And so now what I want to do is fix the part where it says manifest. So if you look at the reference image, it has white text, but it has a pink outline. I'm going to double click on this layer. And right here where it says stroke, I'm gonna click on that. And the part where it says color, I'm gonna click on that. And I'm gonna just hover my little eyedropper tool, and I'm gonna click on this lighter pink. And now you can see it. I'm gonna hit OK. And depending on how thick you may want it, you can play around with this. I'm gonna just see how I like it first. I need to make my text white. Okay, so I think I might want my outline to be a bit thicker, like how it is in the example. So you can just double click on here, go back to where it says stroke, and then just increase that number. I want to put the little asterisk or star right here in between the H and the T. So if I go back into this text box, instead of putting a space there, if I would have put the asterisk, it looks like that, and I don't like that. It's not cute. Well, it kind of is, but I just want it to be in a different text box. So I'm just going to have a space there, and I'm going to get the type tool. I'll come here and I'll just add an asterisk here. And you may not like the style that this is in, so you can probably leave that one there and then just like look at another example to see how it looks in different fonts. I wanted one that was bold, so I think I want to use this one. So I'm gonna just get this one and I'll just drag it over here. All right, so now what else? So up here, I didn't want to put the same name that they had up here, so I'll just put women, babe, bosses. And also, to have all these spaces in between, don't hit a letter and then hit space bar and keep going back and forth and doing that. It's too much. So let me show you what I did. I selected all my text, and if you go over here into your properties panel and look under where it says character, right here where you see this little icon, if you increase that number, then it increases the space in between all of your letters. Double click on that layer where it says manifest. And I'm just going to get a drop shadow. That's really easy to do. So that pops now, but to me, the shadow was too harsh. So I wanted to feel a little bit more softened. So really, if you just play around with this till it looks good, then that's it. But there's really no one set way to do it. I like to lower the opacity a bit. So now it already looks a little bit more soft. And for the spread and size, I just play around with those. So if I increase the size, that makes it a little bit softer. So I might do something like that. Same thing with the spread, but you just got to keep playing around with it till it looks good to you. Okay, so now let me show you how to add the gradient background. So right now, if I hide the reference image, my background is gray. That was just so that way I can be able to see things clearly. Just go back down to the half and half circle, go to gradient. And right here, you want to click in that little bar and it'll bring open this window. So here, let's click on the basics folder and open that up, and click on this first one right here. And your background should end up looking like this for now. So on the black one, just click on that one and you'll click here. And now again, you can use the little eyedropper tool and you can just click on one of the pinks. So I don't want to pick that pink because it's matching with this one too bad. So I'm going to use it as a reference point, and then I'll just click and drag my little circle over this way. So now I can see. So now this is perfect. You can hit OK again, and now you're good. Now we got to worry about the pictures. So let me go ahead and bring back open the images of Meg. So I need to bring this one back down here. I'm gonna bring it down. Okay. And for the one on the left, remember I said I don't want to have her like feet or anything in there. So I'm just going to get that image. I'm gonna click on the layer mask part. I'm gonna go up here to this tool and I'm gonna click and drag it up to about here. Okay. And I'm gonna go to edit, fill, and then I'm gonna go to this part here and I'm gonna click on black because black is what hides things. Hit OK, and there you go. So now let's bring in the pictures of the food. So if you type in mimosa, if you go to tools and then color and hit transparent, usually the same picture comes up that everyone uses. Where is it? This is it right here. This is the same picture that like a lot of graphic designers use, and I've noticed that. So I'm gonna do copy image link. If you can right click it and do copy image and paste it into Photoshop and it doesn't do this, then you're fine. But in my case, for some reason, I just gotta always go back and do copy image link. Or you could just save it to your computer and then drag and drop it. That's fine too. But I don't like saving all these images on my computer. All right, paste the link there, hit place, give it a second, and there you go. Okay, so I went to Google, I typed in brunch whipped cream, and then I went to tools and then color and then transparent. And I came across this one right here. It's not the same exact thing, but I think it'll work. Okay, so maybe something like this. And I'll duplicate that. And I'll have it over here. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm in the middle of editing this video, and I just realized that I forgot how to show y'all how to make this one image transparent. Like you see how this one is like kind of see-through. Method number one, you could get this image of Meg, go up here to opacity and then just lower it, and then you could just get her, bring it down in the layers. So if you want to just bring it behind the dish, that works, but it kind of looks a little bit odd to me. The second method is, so get whatever picture you want. So I'm gonna use the one that's right here in the background, this one. Go up here to where it says opacity and just lower that number. That's all it is. But if you don't want the food to be like seen like that, I think you'll just probably have to click on the food. So I guess in this case, I'll have my food selected, have the layer mask selected, get the brush, make sure it's on black. And I'm gonna actually show you a little shortcut. The one that says hat tip, hold down Control and then click right here on the layer mask for the one in the background. Hopefully that's not confusing. But if you click on that, it'll make the selection of that, right? But still go ahead and have the dish layer selected. And if you just color in right here, it should get rid of that. Or am I tripping? Yeah, it's getting rid of everything like where she is. So I gotta do the same thing for the other one, I believe. If I hide this, okay, yeah. So I'm gonna do the same thing. So now I'm gonna just click on this layer and make sure I click right here. And there we go. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. So you can do that. Let me see, does it look weird? Let me look at the original image real quick. Oh, they put her behind everything. So I guess you could do that too. I guess I kind of just took the long way out. It depends on what you want to do. But okay, resume the video. Bye. Sorry. All right, y'all. So that's how you create this flyer style right here. If you have another design that you would want me to recreate, then I can show you. So you can hit me up on Instagram or TikTok or my email, and it's all in the description box. And yeah, so I would say the most important thing about this project is layering. And probably naming your layers as well, so that way you know what's what. And yeah, so I'll see you on the next one. Bye.